tonight's Socratic Club debate. I'm Andrew Christensen. I will be moderating the debate tonight. As a reminder, and to maintain the spirit of this occasion, we ask that people do not distribute any flyers for any other occasions. Socratic Club was founded to provide a forum for the discussion of intellectual difficulties connected with religion, and Christianity in particular. Our goal is to provide the OSU community with a venue for philosophical discussion and engaging debate. In doing so, we hope to maintain the long-standing tradition of free dialogue and a genuine variety of ideas. Our debates in the past have been lively and engaging. We expect no less tonight. Tonight's debate will be separated into 3 sections. First, each speaker will present opening remarks for 20 minutes. Following this, we will allow each speaker a cross-examination period where they will ask questions about the position of the other speaker. Finally, we will open the debate to questions from the audience. So please refrain from speaking until that time. This evening's debate is entitled, "Is there a rational road to faith?" Do the core beliefs of Christianity form a coherent, internally consistent structure, one that suggests a rational road to faith? Do reason and faith inherently contradict one another? Is there a way to faith that stays consistent with our conception of rationality? Our speakers will explore these issues and offer divergent views. Our first speaker is Kenneth H. Funk. Dr. Funk earned his bachelor's degree in biology from Taylor University and his master's and doctorate degrees in industrial and systems engineering from Ohio State University. He is associate professor of mechanical, industrial, and manufacturing engineering at Oregon State University, where he teaches courses in human factors, engineering, and ergonomics. Dr. Funk's research and scholarship focus on human performance in complex high-risk systems in aviation and medicine, and ethical issues in engineering and technology. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Funk.
Thank you, Andrew. Is this on? By the way, it's the Ohio State University. Since there are 2 Buckeyes here tonight, at least, I'm going to get that right. That's all right. Well, thanks to the Socratic Club. Thanks, everyone, for being here tonight. Thanks especially to Rich for agreeing to discuss this important question with me tonight. Before I begin, let me say, this is important, so listen. The opinions that I express here tonight are my own, and they do not reflect an official position of Oregon State University. That other way, I believe that there is a rational road to faith, and that there is an epistemic way to Christian faith that satisfies certain criteria for rationality. But reason compels no one to follow it to its end, and many who otherwise might follow it find roadblocks. First, what does the question mean? We must assume that road 2 metaphorically means a path, a course, a way through successive points leading to one of special significance. Faith, in the sense I think intended by the question, is a set of beliefs. The Oxford English Dictionary defines faith as that which is or should be believed. Now, belief and knowledge, believing and knowing, are the subject of epistemology. So a road to faith would be an epistemic way, a path through successive states of belief or knowledge to a state including all the essential beliefs of that faith. What would make that road rational? The OED defines rational as based on or derived from reason. And reason is that intellectual power or faculty which is ordinarily employed in adapting thought or action to some end. I'd hope for a clearer definition of reason from the philosophers, but according to the Encyclopedia of Philosophy, there's no universally agreed upon or uniquely correct sense of the word reason. So that gives me quite a bit of latitude in defining what a rational road to faith is. But I don't think that I'll be taking too many liberties to say that a rational line of thought, or a line of thought is rational if it satisfies 3 criteria. First, it must be consistent, that is, containing no contradictions. Second, it must be coherent, orderly and logically connected. And third, it must be empirically justifiable, consistent with evidence from experience. So then a rational road to faith would be an epistemic way to faith that is consistent, coherent, and empirically justifiable. Here then in brief form is an epistemic way to Christian faith, a way presented in the Bible, a way which we often refer to as the gospel. First, there is the supernatural. There's more to reality than the universe of matter and energy. Second, there is a God. There is a supernatural agent outside the universe who created, ordered, sustains, and is sovereign over the universe. Third, God created man in his own image to enjoy eternal communal relationship with him. That relationship is man's chief end and highest good. God made that relationship contingent upon man's compliance with the moral order that he imparted to the universe that he had created. Now, man individually and collectively broke that order, thus breaking communion with God and bringing upon himself the greatest evil, which is utter and eternal separation from God. But in an act of love and mercy and grace, God interceded in his creation to restore the broken relationship. He became a man, Jesus Christ, who lived a perfectly moral life, but allowed himself to be unjustly executed, so taking upon himself man's punishment. He rose from the dead, returned to the supernatural realm, thereby restoring the connection of man to God. And finally, communion with God is restored to those individuals who believe in Christ, his incarnation, perfect life, substitutionary death, and resurrection. Is the gospel a rational road to faith? Well, it's consistent in that there are no contradictions among the beliefs themselves. It's coherent in that it provides an orderly progression through successive states of belief. Each belief provides necessary conditions or semantic context for the next. Each follows logically, if not necessarily, from the previous. It is empirically justifiable, for experience provides evidence for its validity. Thus, I believe there is a rational road to faith. But reason does not compel one to follow it. One can go astray on this road. Some find roadblocks on it, raising objections to these beliefs that I've just stated. Let's examine a few of these roadblocks to see whether or not the road to Christian faith is clear. Certainly the first roadblock on the rational road to faith must be the supernatural. Skeptics object that in the absence of any direct empirical evidence of the supernatural, it's irrational to believe that there's anything to reality besides the material universe. In response, I'd say that the absence of direct empirical evidence is no proof that the cosmos is all there is, all there ever was, all there ever will be, in Sagan's words. On the contrary, it would be unreasonable to expect that if there's something more to reality than matter and energy, that something is necessarily observable by means of our senses, either directly or through our instruments. Indeed, some physicists, cosmologists, astronomers, philosophers, and even psychologists believe it reasonable to postulate the existence of multiple parallel universes existing in a much larger reality. For example, Max Tegmark is a physicist with a PhD from Berkeley, formerly a research associate with the Max Planck Institute and currently associate professor of physics at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Therefore, a person with pretty good credentials for rationality, I'd say. In an article in Scientific American, Tegmark described his four-level multiverse theory. In it, a level 1 multiverse is one containing many, many universes similar to our own, but so far away that we couldn't have seen it since the Big Bang. All have the same physical laws as our own, but with different initial conditions, they're different from ours. Not all necessarily support life, much less consciousness. A level 2 multiverse is more elaborate, consisting of clusters or bubbles of similar universes having similar laws, but with each bubble having different laws. That would account for why our laws of physics are what they are. And it just so happens that our bubble has a universe in it that supports life and consciousness. Here we are. A level 3 multiverse is one in which each quantum event in a particular universe branches to multiple universes corresponding to all possible outcomes of that quantum event. And a level 4 multiverse is one in which a universe is simply the manifestation of a mathematical structure or mathematical system. Every mathematical structure is so manifested as a separate universe existing in an abstract realm. Our universe is just one such manifestation. Level 4 multiverse theory would explain why our universe is so mathematical, why mathematics is such a good explanation of the way things work. Now, my point is not in multiverse theory's truth, but rather in its form. It appears I can really find nothing that's particularly inconsistent or incoherent about it, and Tegmark claims that it's empirically justifiable, at least indirectly, through observation. But here's the point, like the gospel, it goes outside of our universe to explain what we experience inside our universe. So it's not necessarily unreasonable to believe that reality is bigger than our universe. The supernatural need be no roadblock on a rational road to faith. The second roadblock is God. The skeptic objects that the universe, life, and consciousness can be explained satisfactorily in terms of natural causes. There's no need for a God hypothesis. Well, since well before the Christian era, thinkers have offered rational arguments for their belief in God. These include the cosmological argument for the uncaused cause, the teleological argument from design, the ontological argument from the definition of God, and the moral argument from goodness. The most recent turn in the debate about God comes from a person named Antony Flew. Flew is a respected contemporary philosopher, educated at Cambridge and Oxford, who then in turn lectured at Oxford and the University of Aberdeen and served later as professor of philosophy at the Universities of Kiel and Reading. Flew was a prominent atheist who argued that one should presume that God does not exist until evidence of God surfaces, and that one should follow the evidence where it leads. The evidence led Flew to a change of mind. In his latest book, There Is a God, Flew wrote, "Science cannot furnish an argument for God's existence, but three items of evidence, the laws of nature, life with its teleological organization, and the existence of the universe, can only be explained in the light of an intelligence that explains both its own existence and that of the world. Such a discovery of the divine does not come through experiments and equations, but through an understanding of the structures they unveil and map." With regard to the laws of nature, Flew observed that not only are they finely tuned, but the laws themselves are orderly. Even if the laws of the universe result from the chance evolution of our universe, there must be a deeper law that led to their origin. That deeper law, Flew concludes, is God. Life has teleological organization. Life has a purpose, an end, a telos. The persistence of the living cell in an environment that tends to disorder, death, and decay. The growth of the acorn to the oak. Our own individual purposes in being here tonight. But inorganic matter has no purpose. The only satisfactory explanation for the emergence of purpose from non-purpose is the existence of a purposive intelligence that imposes its orderly purpose on matter and energy to produce teleologically organized life. Flew ultimately found that the very existence of the universe is problematic to the atheist. Assuming that natural laws exist as a brute fact, then can the universe be explained in terms of them? Laws are transformation rules. To produce a final state, a transformation rule must have an initial state. The only natural explanation of the initial state is another brute fact. In attempting a naturalistic explanation of the origins of the universe, we're left with several brute facts which offer no meaning